next we have sponsor talks. We have InfraCloud.
My name is Vishal. I'm CTO for InfraCloud Technologies. I'm pretty active in organizing Kubernetes Pune meetup and Twitter and LinkedIn. What I want to do today is look at the Devops Origins, right? How many of you know what year DevOps, the term was coined officially? Any hands up? That's right. So this was a conference in Belgium, 2009, when the term was officially coined. That's how it came into existence. Of course, there were other thoughts before that, but the term officially was in 2009 only, right? Now, the problems before, for those who lack that context, was in the dev teams and the operational teams, it was completely different set of tools, completely different set of processes, completely different people, and they were actually almost fighting against each other instead of trying to work together to get something delivered, right? And so I want to look back and, it's been, 13 years. Are we there yet? Do we have DevOps the way we imagined, the way we thought it will be, right? And what I would like to do is take a few anecdotes from our journey as a company, talk to you about that, and why I think, what we still need to do to get to DevOps state, so to speak. So anecdote one. We as a company are pretty heavy on writing. One of our early work that we did for a customer was write an ebook. We wrote an ebook about how to scale Kubernetes with Rancher, and this was 2017 early or 2016 late. And that over a long time, has helped us build a culture of writing in the org. And that has helped us in many ways, A lot of our engineers like to write what they learn, what they have done at customers, and share with the larger community. When COVID came, we were actually pretty well prepared because our default mode of communication was actually async writing and not getting into a video call, and just spending time on video calls the entire day. Another anecdote. So we work with a lot of customers. We witness a lot of interesting problems. We sometimes find patterns of problems which are common across customers. And what we do is we build tools out of those problems. So for example, we implemented a multi-cluster Prometheus for a bunch of customers. And we realized it is not still as easy as it should be. So we built an in-house tool called Cryas. We open sourced it. It is still pretty early nascent stage in development. But that is something we do very consistently. And Cryas is just one example. We work on a lot of other open source projects, like Fission is another project which we have adopted and continue to maintain as a company. Kbrew was when we started. We eventually de-scoped it in terms of doing active development. Cryas is the one that I mentioned quickly. But we also contribute to quite a few other companies, open source projects, and community in general, right? So that DNA of being a community helper in general is something I think is very crucial to us as a company. I'll tell about another third interesting anecdote. So I was talking to somebody in the hallway yesterday, and they were saying, hey, your booth is pretty active, it's never empty. Is it done by your marketing team? And that was a very interesting question for me, because we are usually kind of trained to think of everything in silos. This job is for X team, this job is for Y team, that job is not for me, and stuff like that, right? And what I have realized over the last few years working with the teams, amazing teams that we have, all this was self-formed teams passionate for the cause. So when this sponsorship we finalized as a company, I just created a public channel and said, hey, we have sponsored DevOps Days, and that's it. I more or less was inactive for the rest of the time. Teams from engineering, teams from talent acquisition, teams from HR folks, and of course folks from marketing jumped in, almost formed a self-organizing team and executed it over the last 2 odd months basically, right? And for those of you who already have experience, you might have seen what is happening at the booth, but if not, I would highly recommend go and check it out. So that was third anecdote, that was very interesting for me. So can we take a dig at what does DevOps mean in 2022, right? It definitely is not just about tools or technologies. It is not just about Kubernetes or containers or something else that could come as a shiny new tech tomorrow maybe, right? I think those are good enablers, great tools, but they are not the end, or they are not the end goal, I would say, right? So here is my hypothesis. We need to break silos. We need to break silos, not just mental, but also organizational, right? So when somebody asked me, is this your marketing team executing the booth? And I was like, no. It is not about marketing team. It is not about which team is doing it, right? It is about the goal we want to have a great experience for people who visit our booth. And once your goal is clear, hey, I want to have a great experience for people who visit my booth, almost everything becomes straightforward, right? You bring the right people from the right teams and come together as a team to execute that, right? And that is one of most fundamental principles of DevOps, right? It is not about dev, it is not about ops, it is about delivering value to end user as a software and do it fast, right? The second thing I think is very crucial is communities, right? We think of again, everything as countries, companies, and stuff like that, but inherently it is about communities that come together about a passionate cause that they are, very invested in and execute things together, basically, right? And third thing I think is the diversity. Diversity of not just ideas and people, but also thoughts, right? Not everything has to be a VC-friendly company which goes from X point to Y point, right? There's a spectrum of companies from bootstrap to everything in between, right? And I think we need to bring this diversity of thoughts, break the silos, and work together as companies, as teams, to achieve greater goals. One or two last slides. So if you haven't checked out, I would highly recommend go and check out at our booth, the 9Apps tool. It's a fun tool we have built on top of a product we are building internally. And it gives you some challenges to solve. You could be one of the lucky Xbox winners, or definitely you'll get other smaller gift, so to speak. And today's schedule, we have a fun quiz at 1:30. We have a mentoring session 3 to 6 p.m. Drop by to our booth, and we'll do a 4 p.m. bingo session. And lastly, we'll do an Xbox raffle at 5 p.m. So have a great conference, and thank you.